Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Ascended Masters programs. And today we have Miss Shari from Voices from the Swamp, who's actually going to talk to us about one of the goddesses, and her name is Durga. So, Shari, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'm excited about this. Like I was saying earlier, I've seen this goddess. I mean, I've seen pictures and statues and whatnot of her probably most of my life, but I didn't know who she was or what she stood for. And one of my students went home for the holidays to India, and when she came back, she brought me a gift. And
Mhm.
this is the goddess Durga.
Wait a
And
minute. I want there. Okay.
there we go. I'm
That's
trying
cool.
not to get the
Yeah.
and she is considered the most powerful goddess in the Hindu religion. Um, she was actually created by the other gods to battle a demon that none of them could beat, and they created her with all of their powers into one person to defeat this demon, which
Wow.
she did. And that's why she has the multiple arms. Every arm symbolizes one of the gods and their powers. So each arm has a weapon of some sort in its hand. And
Ah.
it's depicted the way it is to show that no matter what she's doing or where she's at, she's always ready for battle. She always has her whatever weapon is needed. It's right there in her hand. Just switch out
Mhm.
arms, and boom, she's got them. And I just
Wow.
thought that was just really cool. I was like, I've never even heard. I mean, I've seen the picture, like I said, but I've
Yeah.
never really heard about her. And
Uh-huh.
we have a lot of students from India, so a lot of um, a lot of the Hindu religious aspects get celebrated around campus because
Mhm.
there's such a large population. Like
Sure.
uh, we do the color festival every year, um, uh, the Holy Festival, HOLI, and it's
Yeah.
when they throw all the colors up so
Mhm.
that everybody is all colors. Is
Right.
kind of how I understand it. They throw all the colors so we're all covered in the same colors, which makes
Mhm.
us all even or equal, and it's
I love
just
that. I love that idea.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they do it in the park, which is across the street from our building. They every year they had. I think we're getting ready to have the eighth or ninth year in a row that they've done the Holy Festival, and there are people from across town. I mean, not just campus people, but people in the city, and even
Uh-huh.
some of the other cities that all come in to do the Holy Festival. They like really enjoy it,
Yeah.
and it's like it's colored cornstarch basically is what it is, and you can
Ah.
buy the little packets there, and the money goes to fund their organization and the stuff that they do, and
Mhm.
and so everybody, when the time comes, everybody's throwing powdered cornstarch in the air, By the
Sure.
time
Because
it's all said,
it doesn't create a mess. It can be washed away. So
right,
that's what,
exactly.
yeah.
We all look like mud by the time it's over with. Everything blends.
Uh-huh.
But they have belly dancers that are there every year that get up on the stage and they do the belly dances and all that kind
Mhm.
of stuff, which is really cool. Um, Several of my faculty are involved with it, so
Sure.
um, the first, I guess it was several years back, one of my faculty who's part of the board for the Holy Festival um, was telling me about it. He said, "Well, you're going to come," and I said, "Well, I don't know what that is. It's not my religion." And he's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter. You
Oh, it
just."
doesn't matter. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
I know.
"Oh, okay." So I went and had a ball. It was so much fun.
Sure. Sure.
And but anyway, to get back to Durga, so I started. I've got some notes here I took
Okay.
because there was so much about her that I didn't know. Like
Uh-huh.
she's the most powerful goddess of the Hindu religion. Um, she's always depicted sitting astride either a tiger or a lion, and that is to
Mhm.
show her strength and the fact that she can overcome the most powerful beasts, so to
Mhm.
speak. Um, and she embodies all of their collective energies and strengths. That's why each arm has one of their symbols of power or one of their symbols of the weapons. Um, she she is she is known to be the one that is always there to conquer evil, whether
Mm.
it's against another god or against the faithful, as they call it, which is her
Mhm.
people.
Mhm.
She is there for protection. She is known as the mother of the universe. That's
Mm.
another name she's been given, as the mother of the universe. She's also known as Shiva or
Oh,
Diva.
she is Shiva? Okay.
Um,
Okay.
Several other names that are tacked on with hers. There's like four, five, six religious type holidays throughout the year that are kind of
Yes.
aimed at her. But then there's one big one that they do every year where they have specific mantras that
Mhm.
are directly to her. And she's
Mhm.
known as the protector of women and the protector of families. Um, so young women are told to keep her close to them for their protection so they're not harmed. And
Mhm.
that's how my student gave it to me. Like I said,
Okay.
she had gone home to see family over the holidays. And when she came back, she brought me this, this little Durga. And she was like, I thought of you because you're always taking care of everybody. And so I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And
Well, not only that, Sherry, but all the hands that you have to, all the jobs you have to do, all the different things you have to do at work and at home and everything, and on YouTube, you have all those weapons around in your
I
hand. You know
feel
what I
like,
mean?
yeah, I got multiple arms.
That's right. So it
They
does
just don't
represent
show
you.
up anyway. You only see the two, and
Uh-huh.
which are currently painted green for St. Patty's Day.
Oh, well, there you go.
Um,
Well, there you go.
a completely different holiday altogether.
Uh-huh.
But it
That's
says
so
that
cute.
she's the protector of all that is good and harmonious in the world, and she battles the forces of evil in the world. Is
Wow.
her job. That's what she's there for.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
she her name actually translates to the one who eliminates suffering.
Wow. Okay.
That's what her name means. And
Mhm.
so, because of that, she's known as a protector of women and families. Um, she's also referred to as the three eyed goddess. Um, her
Oh.
left eye represents desire, symbolized by the moon. Her
Uh-huh.
right eye represents action, which is symbolized by the sun.
Uh-huh.
And her middle eye is represented by knowledge, and it's symbolized by fire.
Wow.
So
I
she's
didn't know that. That's really
for
cool. Yeah.
desire, for action, and for knowledge.
Right.
And when you stop and think about, India's one of the few Middle Eastern countries. Well, I guess they're not Middle Eastern; they're actually considered Asian, but
Mhm.
um, uh, they're one of the few countries in that part of the world where women are not subjugated into being things. Their women are can hold just as much power as a man can. There have been several female leaders in the country,
True.
um,
Mrs.
and
Gandhi.
they're
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
And while they may wear veils and stuff, it's more for symbolic dances and whatnot. It's not to cover them up because most of them,
Mhm.
if they wear veils, they're sheer, so you can
Right.
see through them anyway. Um,
Yeah.
and so they're encouraged to expand their knowledge. The young women are to learn
Yeah.
all they can. Um, we
More
have,
so in present day,
oh
because
yeah,
in the caste system, of course, they were one of the ones that were sort of dominated, but now I believe that
Yeah,
there's a lot more
they
available.
still have a
Yeah.
caste system there, but
Mhm.
it's
Looser.
easier to kind of transcend, I think, those levels is how
Yes.
I understand it.
Yes. It's a little
I'm
looser.
sure there's somebody from India watching this saying, "No, you got it all wrong."
You got it wrong.
I'm just going. I mean, I wanted to look up a little bit just to kind of know what it was that she stood for because, like I said, I've seen her all of my life,
Right.
and I've always thought, what a cool statue or picture. I just didn't know what she stood for. I knew she was from India, but
Uh-huh.
I didn't know that much about it really. And the
Yep.
more I've read this past couple of weeks, the more fascinated I've become. It's like, wow, um, very much would be considered today a women's liber, you know,
Definitely. Definitely. Yep.
very much so. So each weapon that she holds has a symbolic meaning to Hinduism, not just as a weapon of one of the other gods, but it actually symbolizes something else. The most, uh, I guess, the most known about symbols are she holds a conch shell. Say that three
Right.
times fast.
I
Um,
know that. Yeah.
it's like which symbolizes the mystical word Om, which is used
Uh-huh.
for meditation and
That's right.
for mantras and chanting. They say
Hmm.
Om, and it's
Right.
that
Yep.
tonality that lifts you into the right, I guess, atmospheric
Vibrational level.
level
Yeah.
vibration that you need to be in. And
Right.
so that's what the shell stands for is, um, and it means that she holds on to God through sound. So to hold
Oh,
on to God, whatever your God is, you do it through sound. And she
okay.
uses the conch shell for that. And then she has a thunderbolt, which
Hmm.
signifies firmness in one's convictions, which reminds Hindus to attack a challenge without losing confidence. So, whatever challenge you're faced with, you're to face it with confidence and go forward.
Right.
Don't duck in the back. Deal with it head on. And
Yeah.
I think that's a marvelous message for everybody, male or
It
female,
is.
no matter where you're
Yeah.
from. That's an
That's right.
excellent thing. Something we all try to teach our kids, meet it head on and deal with the issue. Um,
Uh-huh.
the lotus flower is in one hand, but it's not fully in bloom. It's only partially in bloom. And that's to remind everyone that we all come from the mud because
Yes.
that's where lotus flowers come from. It's
That's
the
right.
mud.
And that we're unfolding
That's
always.
right.
Yeah.
We're slowly blooming and the bloom continues. And
Uh-huh.
it's to remind the faithful to stay true to their spiritual quest. Is you're
Beautiful.
always reaching, you're always learning, you're always blooming to learn more about your quest, your spiritual quest. And then there's the discus, which is the ring you'll see around a finger. And it spins around her index finger, showing the world that follows the will of Durga and that all are at her command. And she uses this to destroy evil and grow righteousness. And that's the purpose of the discus that she swirls around her finger.
Wonderful.
And
Yeah.
then there's the sword, which
Hmm.
symbolizes knowledge by the sharpness of the blade and freedom of all doubt by the shine of the blade, which
Hmm.
that's kind of cool. I never really thought
It
of it.
is kind of cool. And you can relate it to your tarot swords, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Pardon me while I take a drink.
That's okay. Stay.
I start getting really growly because, and I don't have my pack in the comments saying take a sip, Sherry. My live streams, I start saying, Sherry, take a sip. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Take a sip.
To soothe out the throat again. So, but I thought that was really cool because
It is cool.
swords are one of the symbols in the tarot.
And
And
the disc
in a lot
actually,
of,
Could be the coins,
Could be
because
the
the
coins, the
coins, yeah,
physical. Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Um, and then the trident has symbolizes three qualities that are used to alleviate physical, mental, and spiritual suffering. And
Hmm.
that's inactivity, activity, and non activity. So
Oh,
you have three actions that you can take on any
uh-huh.
challenge that you face. And depending on how you use those challenges, how you face them, depends on how it helps alleviate the physical, the mental, or
Right.
the spiritual suffering that you yourself are
That
dealing
we
with.
ourselves are in. That's right.
And I thought that was really cool because you think Trident, you think Poseidon, which is
Right.
a Greek god, I think. Is it
Uh-huh.
Poseidon Greek, if I remember
Yes.
correctly?
Hmm. Yep.
Um, so, and I don't remember what I know. The three spikes on the trident mean a certain thing in the Greek mythology, but I don't remember what it is.
I can't remember what they are either, but I really love the fact that how they list it here.
Yeah,
It just really, what I'm sitting here thinking of as you're just talking about this is just how universal all these things really are. Like you said, it doesn't have to be your religion. They can make a lot of sense to us no matter what we are. Yeah, I
well,
love it. Yeah.
exactly. And because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not any particular religion. I
Hmm.
practice some Buddhism. I practice some Hinduism. I
Hmm.
practice some Christianity. I practice some
Right.
paganism and some
Hmm.
Wiccan and some. I kind of just pulled from what felt
What
right
fits
for
for you?
me
Right.
and what fits for me. And it just really, as I started reading more and more on her, it just really hit me how
It
many of
does.
her beliefs
Hmm.
go right along with what she stands for. And I was like,
That's
I
right.
guess I'm more Hindu than I realized. And I just didn't know it. but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah, the and like I said, riding the tiger, the lion, and
Hmm.
um, there are. Let me see. I had saved some pictures, and I don't know real quick if I can get to them. I'm gonna try, uh,
Okay.
and maybe we can share them. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I thought I had. I thought I had.
While you're
No.
doing that, I just want to tell you a little bit about, in my experience when I was going through my first master's program. I was taking a humanities master's, and interestingly enough, it was at the Houston Baptist University, which I was not Baptist, but those of us that were in the master's program, they didn't put any restrictions on religion or anything for us to study. And I took a class in Hinduism and Buddhism, and it really was so life changing. But I was able to visit a Hindu temple in
Yeah.
Pearland, Texas. And they were so nice, and they explained everything. And we brought in an orange and put it at the feet of the goddess, and went around and looked at everything. And then they said, don't forget to pick up an orange on the way out, whether it's yours or whatever one. And I tell you what, my friend and I both said, this orange is absolutely delicious. It was like it had been blessed by the goddess. It just, I don't know if it was mind over matter, but it was such a wonderful experience. If you ever get a chance, they're very open and very nice to you and explain everything to you. And it was just a good experience.
Yeah,
I'd
I
like.
know when I got to go to Hawaii, when my son was still in the Navy, he was stationed at Pearl
Uh
Harbor,
huh. Yeah.
and when he got back from his second deployment, he flew Mama out to Hawaii for a week vacation.
Oh,
So I
nice.
got a free trip to Hawaii, yay!
Yeah.
And they have a Buddhist temple on
Yes, I've been
Oahu.
there. I've
Yes,
been there.
and so
Yes.
he knew I wanted to go there, so we went.
Uh
And
huh.
it was truly amazing just to walk
Wasn't it?
through it and to be able to go
Did you push?
and
Did you make the gong? Did you
the
do the
gong,
gong?
yeah, I did. I rang the gong to tell him I'm
Yeah.
here, and
Uh
then
huh.
we walked through, and when we got to the main the main throne room. We went, we lit the incense so that we could sit and pray. And because you have to take your shoes off to go in, you
Right,
can't
right,
go into the thing with your shoes on. And then you have to backtrack and walk around and go get your shoes back. Um,
right.
but I loved it. We spent like a whole
Wasn't it?
afternoon over there. It was
I
great.
know. It's just a wonderful,
And,
uplifting
and the
experience.
people there
Right.
were just, they were so polite and so friendly and just
Uh-huh.
any questions you had. They had a little uh, gift shop off to the side where you could go buy um,
Hmm.
replicas of stuff. And I don't even know where I've got it. It's somewhere around here. I bought because the year I was born is the year of the ox. And
Uh-huh.
so I bought a white jade ox
Oh,
that
cool.
that they had that had
Okay.
been blessed in the temple. So I was like, oh, then I got to get it.
That's
And
nice.
so,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
have that. It's little bitty. It's not very big, but um, still, it's cool. I put it out every full moon. Charge
Uh-huh.
this sucker up.
That's right. That's
I
right.
used to have it hanging in the car so
Uh-huh.
that it would protect my travels. And then when we started having car issues and nobody knew what car anybody was going to be in anymore, I was like, okay,
Better
the
take it out.
guys
Yeah.
don't take
Yeah.
care of that kind of stuff. So I'm taking it out
I
of the
know.
car. You're on
Yeah.
your own.
I hear you.
But let's see. Okay, the fact that she rides a tiger or lion represents power,
Hmm.
will, and determination, and shows her mastery over all of those qualities, which I thought was kind of cool.
It is.
Um,
It is.
her pose, the pose that you see her in, is called. I'm gonna murder this, so y'all forgive me. Abhay Mudra, meaning
Okay.
freedom of fear,
Oh,
teaching the
okay.
faithful to conduct themselves in a righteous and courageous way, to never be
Wonderful.
fearful. And I really thought that was really interesting. And then, let's see, I think I got everything that I had printed out because you get a little of this, a little of that, a little of the other. It's hard to,
I know.
um,
Yeah. But it's so, it reminds me another tarot card, though, really. It reminds me, it's the strength card where the woman has got her hands right by the lion's mouth.
and
And
it's the
so,
woman, it's not a
and it's
man.
the
Right?
woman. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
my
So
mother
you can
used to
see how
always
that
say to
symbology. Yeah.
yeah, my mother used to always say to me, "We are far stronger than men will ever dream of being."
Well, when you give
And I
birth
can
to
remember
children.
when I was younger, I would look at her like, "Huh?" And she was like, "Look, who bears children? We do. Who takes
Yeah.
care of the family? We do.
Hmm.
Who has to be the one to provide comfort and care and check off down the list for their spouse and their children and their boss and their friends
Yeah.
and their family, and who does all of the work? The women do.
Right.
And it's still, even though it's things are far more equal in a lot of households today, it's still
Didn't
true
start
for a
that way.
lot of households that
That's right.
the
Hmm.
husband and the wife both go work all day, and when they get home, he parks his butt in front of the TV to watch the news, and she's dealing with the kids and the homework and getting dinner going and throwing a
Yeah.
load in the wash to get,
Yeah.
it's like it never stops. Um,
Hmm.
my son fusses at me all the time about, Mom, it can wait till tomorrow. Go sit down. You're falling on your face because I'm always up doing something. And I said,
Sure.
it drives me crazy. I can't
Yeah.
stand for it to not
I
be done,
understand.
you know.
I
And
understand.
so
We get used to doing it. It's hard not to do it once you're
it's hard
used to
not to
doing
do it. And of course, now I've got my guys. I say my guys, my son, my brother, and his son. They're all spoiled to the fact, well, if we leave it long enough, Sherry will take care of it.
it. I hear you.
And they're the worst at it. It's like I
Yeah.
love them all dearly, but it's like, geez, man, y'all can't pick
I
up a damn wash rag and wipe the countertop when you spill something. How hard?
No,
I
that would be too hard.
something got spilled 2 days ago on the stove top. I've got a glass top stove,
Mhm.
It's still there.
It's still there.
I've
You're
been
waiting,
doing
but
this.
you
Yeah,
know that you might as well just go
I'm
clean it up
waiting to
now.
see how
Yeah.
long will it take before somebody
Uh-huh.
wipes it off.
Right.
We're going into day 3. No one's wiped it
Right.
off yet. And in a little bit, I'm going to be hitting the kitchen to go clean it because I
There
got a
you go.
stack of dirty dishes on the counter, and
So
nobody's bothered to deal with those either. So,
I
uh,
think we all need to have our own personal Durga, as a reminder, at least in our minds, as a reminder to stay strong, to stay not, to be not in fear. Whenever we're having a really bad day, we have to
oh
remember that
yeah,
we are very
absolutely.
powerful.
And it helps because I've got this sitting.
Yeah.
I've got like my portrait of my spirit guides,
Uh
and then
huh.
I've got a couple of Mardi Gras masks up on the wall, and now I've got her up
Now you
there
got
with them,
Durga.
you know.
That's
And so
awesome.
when I'm sitting at my computer and I look up,
Uh
that's
huh.
what's facing me. And
Yep.
is the wall behind the monitor. And
That's
so
awesome.
it's kind of neat because I can sit and look at them sometimes when
Sure.
I'm trying to contemplate what I want to do or what I want to say.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like I do Qigong, which is a form of Tai Chi, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a type of movement. It's especially good for people like me with spinal injuries because
Mm-hmm.
it's very slow, fluid, just kind
Correct.
of stretchy moves. And
Yep.
I find if I go outside on the patio and I do that before I do a show or before I do a reading or a live stream or something, that it feels like it opens up a path.
It does. It loosens you up, is what
It
it's
does.
doing.
It loosens
Yeah.
me up, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I feel like I'm being like it's opening a door to the energy,
Sure.
and I can
Sure.
actually feel the energy coming into me. And
That's
so I
beautiful.
try to do that. And now I've got Miss Durga here on the side that is like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
time to go kick some butt. Let's get going.
Yeah. That's
And
awesome, Sherry.
but I
That's
love it.
awesome.
I mean, and it was such a touching gift from my student. She's almost done. She's working on her PhD, and she's
Wow.
been busting her butt for the last few years. And she had a couple of big projects that came up just before the holidays, and the printer in the lab where she works went down, and she had like this major report that she had to get
Sure.
printed out to turn in by a certain time frame for part of her thesis and whatnot that she was working on. And she
Mm-hmm.
came to me in a panic saying, I don't know what to do. And I said, just send me the file. I said, I've got a color printer in my office. I'll print it out for you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
Yeah.
she's like, but y'all not supposed to do that. I said, I know we're not supposed to. I said,
Right.
normally, no, I wouldn't do that.
Right. Right.
I said,
Yeah.
you've been working really hard, and I know that. You haven't been just screwing around. You've been
Right.
working hard, and I've watched you for the last couple of years work really hard to get all of this stuff done. I said, the least I could do is print out 50 pages of a
Right.
report to turn in on time as part of
Mm-hmm.
your degree plan. I said, then
Yeah.
that's the least I can do to help you out. And
Sure. There
and
are
it was
extenuating circumstances. You're absolutely right.
exactly, and
Yeah.
you have to take those into consideration.
You do.
Um,
Yeah.
I have several of the students that, even though I don't normally directly deal with that many students, I have several of the grad students that some of them come by just to say hi
Yeah.
because they've gotten to know me and they just come pop in. Oh, I'm over here on
Mm-hmm.
this side. I just thought I'd say hello. And
Uh-huh.
some of them are part of the LGBTQ community, and
Uh-huh.
they know that I'm part of the Project
Oh, I know. Right.
Allies on our campus.
Uh,
And so my office has been designated a safe space
good.
for them
Oh,
to
that's
come
good to
in
hear. Yeah.
if they feel bullied or harassed. Uh,
Uh-huh.
the goal is to get a faculty and or staff member in every building, a member of the organization so that they can provide that safe space.
Right.
And when I was first approached about would I be interested in joining that group, and I said yes. And then I told my boss, I said, not just from a personal point of view that I feel this is important, I said, but probably 80% of our students come from parts of the world where coming out of the closet is a death sentence,
Oh yeah.
or
Yep.
at least ostracized from their
That's
family and
right.
stuff,
No,
you know.
you're right.
I
Yep.
said, so if them having a place they can just come hang out for 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, and come sit in my office with me while I do my thing,
Hmm.
it helps keep them
Sure. Grounds
functioning
them.
normally,
That's right.
then, I want to be the one there to provide that for them. And he
Hmm.
was like, absolutely, go do it, so we've had several training sessions and meetings over the
Uh-huh.
past year. And so I have several of my LGBTQ students that come and just come hang out because they know they can come hang out with Miss Sherry and,
Uh-huh.
talk about boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever.
Hmm.
This teacher, that teacher that's pissed them off, and
Just a place to vent
just
and
a place
share.
to
That's
vent.
awesome. That's
They can
awesome.
come vent.
So
They can
you're
come.
their Durga. You're their Durga is
I
what you
guess
are.
I am. Yeah. Um,
Wow.
so
That's
and
fabulous.
uh, I get such a charge out of them, and just they fill me up. It's
Yeah.
I understand why teachers do what they do because of the energy
It's
and
gratifying.
feedback
Yeah.
that you get from your students. Now, I don't teach. I'm not a teacher. I'm
Right. But
not
you
at
are
all.
part of the college community
But I'm part of
that
that
they
community,
need. You are.
and
Hmm.
so I try to do what I can when I
Yeah.
can. And it's the same for with my faculty. I mean, um,
Hmm.
I have a beautiful uh, hand carved jade dragon that's about
Hmm.
yay long. It's a good foot
Hmm.
long almost.
Ooh.
It's huge. Uh, Direct from China, from one of
Hmm.
my faculty who's from China.
Oh,
Uh,
wonderful.
his first
Wow.
semester, he didn't speak very good English, and he was having a hard time getting things done because he couldn't he couldn't verbalize what he was trying to get done in
Hmm.
English, and it was very frustrating for him. And he had come by my office one day to try to ask for help, and I was like, absolutely, let's see what we can do. And I was like, if you don't know how to say it, I said, put it in an email, and I can
Hmm.
run it through a translator and figure out
Great.
what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
And we've since become friends. But after that, those first 2 semesters, he had gone home over the summer, go visit family. When he came
Hmm.
back, he brought me this beautiful jade dragon. And he
See,
said,
the little things we can do
and I
for
was like,
people is
I
amazing.
can't accept this. I said, this is
Yeah.
too
Uh,
expensive. He said, oh no, you have to take it. He says, this is my thank you for all your help. He said, my family
yeah.
said yes, I should
Oh,
get
yeah.
this.
You can't turn that. You
And
can't turn
so
away. That's
I
right.
was like, yeah. And then I thought the culture, you can't say no.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
just like I used to have some neighbors from Iraq, and if you ever had to go over to their house for something, the minute you step over the threshold, you're there for a while
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
have
You
to
are.
sit and eat and drink and visit,
Uh-huh.
regardless of what you're doing. That's just the way they are,
That's
and
the
they're
way they are.
insulted if you
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some of it's been a learning curve for me because we're so used to
But
going. We don't
it is,
stop.
but it's what's made you so good at what you do, Sherry, because when we work with people from other countries, we realize that everybody really is the same. And we become a
Absolutely.
global citizen, not just a citizen of the country we live in. And it opens up
Exactly.
our minds. It really, really does. So,
I'll never forget the first time I had gone over. It was at Christmas, and I had baked some Christmas cookies, and I had gone over to their apartment to bring them a tin of Christmas cookies, and they were just flabbergasted that I had
uh-huh.
given them a present for Christmas. They're like, "But we're not Christian." And I was like, "You
Uh-huh.
don't have to be a Christian to celebrate Christmas. It's like Christmas is for everybody.
Right.
No religion attached. It's just, it's
Yeah.
a
It's
time
just
to,
appreciation.
you don't
Right.
have to be religious to celebrate
Hmm.
Christmas." Um,
Right.
I said, because the Christians weren't the one that came up with this holiday anyway. that was a Roman holiday. They just adapted it and made it
Adapted
fit
it.
for
That's
them, you
right.
know.
They did.
And one of the wives who didn't speak real good English, but bless her heart, she was doing her best. And she was like, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Absolutely, ask me anything you want." And
Hmm.
she was like, "Why do people hate us when they see me in my headpiece?" And I said, "Because
Yeah,
they're afraid." I
that's
said,
right.
"They're
You got
ignorant."
it.
I said, "They're ignorant. They don't understand it.
Yep,
So they fear it, and what they fear, they hate, and
that's right.
because they don't understand." I said, "So," I said, "part of the goal in my mind for those of us who took the time to find out, why do you wear this headpiece and what does it mean to you?"
Hmm. Hmm.
I said, it's kind of our job at that point then to point it out to people who respond
Right.
negatively, to say, well, you do know why. I mean, you go to any Catholic church when I was a kid, we all had to wear head coverings when we went
Right.
into the
That's
church.
right.
We all wore a little lace, like
Little lace
napkins.
mantilla sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jewish community, they still do the same when
They
they go
still
in the
do.
temple.
Hmm.
Um, I said, so it's not just Muslims that, it's just they
Hmm.
wear theirs all the time because it's
Yeah.
to show that they're subservient to their God, you know.
You've brought
That's
up a really good point because,
and
everybody's trying to get, oh, why do we have to have diversity? Why do we have to? This is a very, very good reason why we need diversity, because once we understand that we're really all the same and we're all
exactly,
connected, there is no
exactly.
separation. So that's
I
a
know before
beautiful,
they moved
beautiful.
away, it was two brothers and their wives. They all lived together in this small apartment as they're trying to
Uh-huh.
adapt to this country. And
Sure.
their mother, their grandmother, the grandmother was there, and she just took to me, and she didn't speak a word of English.
Yeah.
But if
But you
she saw
communicated.
me, but if she saw me
Yes.
across the way, she would
Uh-huh.
start waving and doing this number, and whatever I was doing, I'd have to stop and go run over where she was and go give her a
Uh-huh.
hug, and then
Yeah.
she was fine, you know. But
Yeah.
when she saw me, I had to go hug her, you know. It was
Yeah.
just
I get
that
it.
was that,
You were a
and
good ambassador. You were a very good
you know,
ambassador for that.
so
Yeah.
that's part of what I love about my job is I get to be
Uh-huh.
around
Yeah.
students and faculty from around the world.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I have people from Egypt, people from China, people from Malaysia, from
Right.
Turkey, from India, from a few from Russia, although they've graduated now. But it's
That's
just cool
fabulous.
to sit
It
and
is. Yeah.
talk to them. I think at first they weren't too sure about me. And then when I would ask about their culture and what do they do and why do
Yeah.
they do this, that, or the other, um,
They like talking about their
they
culture.
like talking
Yeah.
about from somebody that's
Sure.
truly interested.
Interested.
'Cause I've
Right.
always been interested in different cultures. It's just always
Uh-huh.
fascinated me
Yeah.
how we're all so different, yet we're all the same,
That's right.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Well, Sherry,
but
thank you for bringing us Durga today. Thank you
you're
for
welcome.
opening up the conversation about the differences, and also for showing us how so many similarities in her representation of her with her third eye and her extra arms, and all of those things show up in our symbology for things that we do even now. So
Oh yeah,
thank you for bringing her to us.
regardless of
Thank
your religion, yeah,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
for those that aren't religious,
Yep. Yep. That's
many of
right.
those qualities
Yeah.
they inhabit and they
Symbolic,
try to
universal symbolism is very, very big here. So that's
exactly,
wonderful. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's
thank
what
you.
I
I
love about
appreciate
learning about all this stuff. It's
Uh-huh. It's a lot of
fascinating
fun.
to me.
It is
And
fascinating. Yeah.
so
Well,
thank
thank
you
you.
for
And thanks
inviting me.
everybody for being here for Durga. And we'll see you next time on the Ascended Master series. Thanks,
Bye.
Sherry.